Welcome to our deep dive into the world in 2050. Um, we're kind of time traveling, to see what daily life might be like and what trends, uh, could be shaping our world.
We had about 25 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And our source material for this is this really interesting document that's packed with predictions about the future.
Yeah, it's pretty comprehensive. It covers everything from like AI companions to underwater cities and even humans on Mars.
It's wild. It's
It,
like straight out of science fiction.
yeah, and the thing is, these predictions aren't just like random guesses or anything. They're actually grounded in like current trends and scientific projections. So, they offer a pretty insightful glimpse into what could be.
Yeah, right.
Fun.
So it's not just like someone's imagination running wild. This is based on some data and some analysis of current trends.
Exactly.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
The report dives into the specific impacts of climate change that we might see by 2050, and it paints a pretty stark picture, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's not sugarcoating anything.
No, not at all.
Mm.
It talks about a world grappling with a 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius temperature increase, and that could mean for coastal cities,
Yeah, that's one of the big takeaways. A lot of coastal cities could be in big trouble.
right? Like Miami, Jakarta, Venice. They could face serious threats from rising sea levels,
Yeah.
potentially even leading to, mass migrations and displacement.
Absolutely. It's a pretty sobering thought when you really think about the scale of it.
It is, but the report doesn't just dwell on the negative, does it?
No, it's not all doom and gloom.
Right. It also explores ways that humans might adapt, like from constructing innovative seawalls and floating cities,
Yeah, those are some pretty wild ideas, but, they could become necessary.
or even like strategically retreating from the most vulnerable areas.
Managed retreat, they call it.
Right. It's like a reminder that human ingenuity often comes at the forefront during times of great challenge, right?
Absolutely. We've seen that throughout history, haven't we?
Yeah. And the document also emphasizes the importance of like a global shift away from fossil fuels
Mm.
and a transition towards renewable energy sources,
Yeah, it talks about solar, wind, and even potentially nuclear fusion.
which is like mind-blowing if you think
Yeah.
about it.
You can imagine a world powered by clean energy sources,
Yeah.
a significant departure from our current reliance on fossil fuels.
It's a future that a lot of people are striving for today.
And the report suggests it actually could be within our reach.
Yeah, I mean, that would be incredible. But the report also predicts a dramatic increase in extreme weather events along with this energy revolution.
Yeah, so there's a trade-off. There are benefits, but also some major challenges.
Right, like hurricanes, droughts, floods, they're all on the rise.
Hmm.
And it's going to demand a global response, focus on infrastructure improvements,
Yeah.
agricultural adaptations, and even shifts in our lifestyles to withstand these climate shocks.
Right. It's not just about technology. It's about how we live and adapt as a species.
Yeah, so it's a lot to think about. And speaking of significant global shifts, the document also explores like the rapid evolution of technology and how it's expected to be even more deeply intertwined with our lives by 2050.
Oh, absolutely. Technology is going to be everywhere by then. I mean, even more than it is now.
Right. I mean, think about it.
One area that I found particularly fascinating is artificial intelligence.
Oh, yeah. AI is huge.
It's projected to move beyond simple automation and like become a genuine partner in like innovation and problem solving.
So not just like robots doing tasks, but actually like helping us think and solve problems.
Exactly. It could look like personalized AI companions assisting with daily tasks, offering emotional support, and even guiding personal development.
That raises some interesting questions, though, doesn't it?
Mm.
I mean, while the idea of an AI companion is intriguing, it also prompts those ethical considerations about AI's role in our lives and, the potential implications for human connection.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a double-edged sword, like any powerful technology.
Right, and it's something the report acknowledges.
But imagine AI analyzing our strengths and weaknesses, suggesting career paths, or even creating like personalized educational programs tailored to our individual needs.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing, actually. That level of personalization could revolutionize how we approach learning and self-improvement.
Totally. And it's not just limited to our personal lives either.
No, you're right.
The report suggests that quantum computing, with all its complexities, could revolutionize fields like medicine.
Oh, wow. Quantum computing, that's a whole other level.
Yeah, for example, it could help design personalized drugs with minimal side effects through quantum simulations.
That's pretty mind-blowing. I mean, the potential applications of quantum computing are vast.
Yeah, it's really hard to even grasp the full extent of it, but the report focuses on its ability to solve currently unsolvable problems with the potential to directly benefit humanity.
Right, so it's not just theoretical. It has real-world applications that could improve our lives.
Exactly. And speaking of mind-boggling advancements, the report suggests that space exploration could reach new heights by 2050.
Oh, yeah, I was reading about it. They're talking about Mars colonization and lunar settlements potentially becoming operational.
Yeah, it's like something out of a science fiction movie, but,
Yeah.
it's not entirely outlandish considering the advancements in space travel we're seeing today.
Right, it's not like completely out there. And the shift towards space could lead to new economic opportunities like asteroid mining.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole new frontier, providing resources and potentially even new homes for humanity.
Asteroid mining, though, that presents a unique set of challenges, to say the least.
It's not going to be easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, what kind of technological advancements would need to take place to make that a viable industry?
Well, that's a discussion for the engineers and scientists, but the report suggests it could be a reality by 2050.
Wow, so it's not just a pipe dream.
And coming back down to Earth, the report also delves into the world of biotechnology and healthcare.
Okay, yeah, that's another area where there's so much potential for innovation.
It paints a picture of a future where precision medicine and gene editing could extend our lifespans potentially beyond 100 years.
Living to 100, that's a fascinating concept, but it also prompts those questions about how our social structures and systems would adapt to such a significant increase in lifespan.
Right, like would we need to rethink our concept of retirement and work?
It's a really valid point, and one we'll definitely explore further when we talk about societal and economic shifts.
The report also highlights advancements in biotechnology, like artificial organs, advanced prosthetics, and even neural enhancements that could blur the line between human and machine.
It's like pushing the boundaries of what we consider possible in healthcare.
Absolutely.
It's incredible. But these advancements, they also raise questions about access and equity.
Yeah.
Like, how do we ensure that these technologies benefit all of humanity and not just a select few?
That's the ethical dilemma that comes with every major technological advancement.
Right, and it's one that policymakers and researchers are going to have to address as these technologies become more prevalent.
But beyond the ethical considerations, imagine a world where artificial organs are readily available, eliminating the need for organ donation waiting lists, or where advanced prosthetics allow individuals with disabilities to regain lost function and mobility.
Yeah, the potential for improving quality of life for millions of people is immense.
Exactly.
And let's not forget about the possibility of flying cars, a concept that's captivated our imaginations for decades.
The report suggests they could become a reality by 2050.
Really? Wow.
With autonomous air taxis and personal transport drones revolutionizing our commutes and potentially reshaping urban landscapes.
I mean, imagine cities with less ground traffic and more open spaces.
Yeah, a significant shift from the congested urban centers we see today.
The impact on urban planning and infrastructure would be immense, though.
Absolutely.
Like, how would our cities need to adapt to accommodate this new form of transportation?
That's a question urban planners are already grappling with.
Yeah.
And one the report encourages us to consider as we think about the cities of the future.
Okay, so let's shift our focus to the demographic and societal changes we might see by 2050.
Sounds good.
The global population is projected to peak at around 9.7 billion people in 2050.
That's a lot of people.
It is a significant number, but the more intriguing aspect is the changing composition of that population.
Right, not just the sheer number, but who those people are.
Exactly. We're looking at aging populations, especially in developed nations, and the continued trend of urbanization.
Yeah, more people living in cities and a larger proportion of elderly individuals.
It presents a unique set of challenges and opportunities, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We'll need to innovate in healthcare, rethink urban design, and potentially even revisit our traditional models of work and retirement.
It's a lot to consider, but also a chance to create a more inclusive and supportive society for everyone you know.
I agree with that.
So now let's turn our attention to the economic landscape.
Okay.
The report suggests that automation could reshape the job market significantly.
Yeah, that's a big one.
While this could mean greater efficiency and productivity, it also raises concerns about job displacement and economic inequality.
Right. It's a double-edged sword like a lot of these advancements.
Exactly. And the report highlights the potential of universal basic income, or UBI, as a way to address those concerns.
UBI. Yeah, that's a pretty radical idea.
It is. It would provide everyone with a guaranteed minimum income regardless of employment status.
So essentially, everyone gets a paycheck whether they're working or not.
Right. It's a big idea, and it's definitely gaining traction as automation becomes more prevalent.
Makes sense. I mean, if robots are taking over a lot of the jobs, someone's got to give, right?
Right. But wouldn't a system like that disincentivize people from working and lead to economic stagnation?
That's a common concern, and it's something societies would need to carefully consider. How do you balance individual freedom with collective responsibility in a world where work might not be a necessity for survival? That's one of the big questions we might face.
It's definitely a complex issue with no easy answers.
And the report also dives into the idea of decentralized finance, or DeFi.
DeFi. Okay, I've heard that term thrown around, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
It's basically the idea that blockchain technology, similar to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, could create a financial system operating outside traditional banks and institutions.
So instead of relying on banks, we could potentially borrow money directly from other people using a secure digital system.
Exactly. DeFi aims to create a more open and accessible financial system, and the report suggests it could gain significant traction by 2050.
It's a pretty major departure from how most of us manage our finances today.
It is, but technology has a way of disrupting the status quo.
That's true. Now, shifting gears to geopolitics, the report predicts the rise of new global powers, including India, China, and a potentially unified African Union.
Yeah, the balance of power is definitely shifting.
It's fascinating to think about how the geopolitical landscape might look in a few decades.
And how these new power dynamics will play out on the global stage.
Right, but this redistribution of power could also lead to conflict, especially as competition for resources intensifies.
Absolutely. The report highlights the potential for conflict over resources like water, rare earth metals, and food as populations grow and resources become more scarce.
It's a stark reminder that a future with incredible technological advancements can also present complex geopolitical challenges.
Right, it's not all sunshine and roses.
No, definitely not. The report also touches on the evolution of societal values. It predicts a continued push for equality and inclusion, with movements for social justice gaining momentum.
Which is encouraging to see.
It is, but the report also stresses the importance of ethics in technology, particularly as artificial intelligence and genetic modification become more prevalent.
Right, those are two areas where we need to tread carefully.
Absolutely. These advancements will force us to confront some fundamental questions about our values and what it means to be human in a world increasingly intertwined with technology.
It's like we might need an entirely new ethical framework to navigate these uncharted waters.
That's a really thought-provoking idea. The choices we make today regarding AI and genetic modification will have a ripple effect for generations to come.
Exactly. So we need to be mindful of the long-term consequences.
On a less complex but equally intriguing note, the report talks about the idea of redefining work and purpose in a world with less traditional work.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Imagine a world where automation frees us from mundane tasks, allowing us to focus on more fulfilling pursuits like artistic expression, lifelong learning, and community engagement.
It's a vision of a future where work is less about earning a living and more about personal fulfillment and contributing to society in meaningful ways.
That's a future I think a lot of people would welcome.
It would definitely require a major shift in our thinking, though.
Right. It would require a fundamental restructuring of our economic and social systems.
Exactly. How do we create a society that supports this transition and ensures everyone benefits? That's the million-dollar question.
The report doesn't provide all the answers, but it challenges us to envision new models of work and community that align with a future where automation plays a larger role in our lives.
It's a call to action in a way.
Right. It's up to us to figure out how to make this vision a reality.
And to ensure that everyone benefits from these technological advancements.
Well, it seems like this future presents a mixed bag of potential benefits and challenges. We've covered the economic transformation, the shifting geopolitical landscape, and the evolving societal values that might define the world of 2050. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world in 2050. We've covered a lot of ground, from the potential impacts of climate change and the rise of these incredible technologies to the economic transformation, the shifting geopolitical landscape, and the evolving societal values that might shape this not-so-distant future.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, and now we arrive at, I think, the most crucial question. What does it all mean for you?
Yeah, that's the big one, isn't it?
It's easy to get caught up in these big sweeping trends, but at the end of the day, it comes down to how they affect our individual lives,
Yeah.
our hopes and dreams.
Right. This report isn't just about predicting the future. It's about giving us the tools to shape it.
I like that.
The future isn't preordained. It's a canvas we get to paint both collectively and individually.
The report paints a fascinating picture of what everyday life in 2050 might be like one that almost sounds surreal.
Yeah, it does sound a bit like science fiction.
It does.
Imagine waking up in a home that, anticipates your needs, seamlessly managed by AI. Your commute is effortless in an autonomous flying car, and your days are filled with a blend of virtual and physical experiences. Healthcare is proactive, with nanobots constantly monitoring your health, education, and entertainment are immersive, using virtual reality to create these truly engaging experiences.
Pretty wild to think about.
It is, but the report emphasizes that this future isn't some far-off utopia or dystopia. It's a world that's being shaped right now by the choices we make, the technologies we develop, and the values we prioritize.
So we're not just passive passengers, we're actually co-creating this future.
Exactly, and that's where you, the listener, come in. This deep dive has given you a glimpse into the possibilities and challenges ahead. Now the question is, what role do you want to play in shaping this future?
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering. Do you want to be a passive observer, letting the waves of change wash over you? Or do you want to be an active participant using your knowledge, your skills, and your passions to help create a future that reflects your values?
It's not about having all the answers. It's about facing the unknown with curiosity, responsibility, and a willingness to learn and adapt.
Because the future is uncertain, but it's also full of potential.
Exactly.
So as we conclude this journey to the year 2050, we leave you with one final thought-provoking question. What kind of future do you want to create? What steps can you take today to make that future a reality?
The world of 2050 may seem distant, but it's closer than you think, and it's being shaped right now by the choices we all make. Choose wisely and let's build a future worth inhabiting.